Oh, hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Okay, so here's what's going on. The reason I have just stopped the episode was because I can't do it anymore. I can't take the pain anymore to make this series. I know you guys were waiting for it and stuff, but I tried to make it to the end of the series. We only had 4 scenes left, but I can't finish this episode. I'm canceling the series, guys. I'm sorry. I just have no more motivation. I have no motivation. I've waited too long and it's too much work. I have another series I want to do, which is why it's getting so unmotivated. It's going to be called Project Wolf. And it's going to be about a girl getting turned into a wolf. And so, yeah. I can't do this anymore, you know? And I hate doing this to you guys because I know how much you love this series, so I'm really sorry about that. I just don't think I can do any more with me becoming really depressed right now. All I want to do is just sit in bed and just roleplay because that's my only distraction. I don't want to edit. I tried editing, I tried drawing, but I just kept making myself feel like shit. I want to make edits for my girlfriend, but I can't. Every time I try to make her an edit, I just feel like it's shit and I just start all over and I just end up not doing it anymore and just role-playing again. I don't know what's going on with me. I've lost passion for what I want to do. I lost passion for this series. I really love this series, but because I don't want to leave you off on a cliffhanger like that, I'm just going to explain the next 4 scenes and then explain what was going to happen in series 2 and 3. So, here we go. So, after Xavier asked to go to the restroom, he went to the restroom and washed his face. Well, he was going to wash his face. Raymond was washing his hands when he basically saw them in the bathroom and then just got some ideas, smirked. And because he was so tired, he took advantage of it and basically raped him because he changed his mind right when he was about to. Xavier cried for it to stop, but he didn't, so that was actual rape, not secondhand. Raymond said, "I love you," to Xavier for the first time in a while. And, God, this is even unmotivating. And, Xavier believed it, but it was really a lie, just to be an asshole. And he said, "Me too." He was so happy to hear those lies that he thought were true. And he went home, hanging out with his family. They hung out, and then Xavier's phone rang. Apparently, Raymond was sobbing because his father just passed away. Xavier didn't know what to do and comfort him, so, yeah, and when he came over, he was on the floor bawling his eyes out because he just lost his father. And regrets everything that he said about him and stuff like that, all the fights. He took his life for granted. And then Xavier saw it. He didn't really know what to do, and then it was supposed to be continued, and that would be the last episode. But I can't do that now, can I? So in the next episode, Xavier really didn't know what to do. He tried to calm him down, but it didn't. So he kissed him, and it kind of helped. And for once, he actually thought that he really did care about him, and then maybe he should try to love him a bit. But then he ended up taking advantage of that and tried to use that to make him feel better. And it kind of did. Sex kind of made him feel better, but whatever. And then the storyline that was supposed to happen in each season. They have it right here. Storyline for Chapped in the Loop. Austin helped me came up with it. AKA Oofington. This was the storyline. Xavier would be going back and forth with his two loves as it gets worse and worse. The parents had no idea, but they started getting suspicious when he kept wearing his mask and long sleeves. At one point, Xavier would lose his sparkle in his eyes. He is still going between the two because he can't choose. He thinks that they're both good boyfriends for him. He thinks it's normal and he thinks it's healthy. Then in the next season, we focus on the parents for a bit. Lamar is homophobic, wanted to come over. And so when he asked David to come over, they got into a huge fight because Lamar asked him, so I want you to come over with me, but can you take off your ring? And he's like, why? Why do you want me to take off my ring? Because they don't know I'm married to you. So does that mean I have to take off my ring? Well, no, but what if they ask? Then I say I'm married to you. And then they get into a huge fight. And when Lamar started telling him that they don't know about his sexuality, so David said that they will have to accept you, and then Lamar just decided to blurt out, well, your parents accepted you because they're gay. The fight went on and on. And then basically they grabbed Xavier and they went on the plane and they flew to London and were at the dinner at the house with their rings on because David convinced them. They had dinner and David put some gay jokes out there, but Lamar quickly pushed them away because obviously his parents weren't fond of his jokes and parents weren't fond of what he was wearing. They thought it was very out of the normal, quote, quote, normal. And basically his parents start to question him, like, what an odd outfit. Why do you wear this? It's just what Canadians wear. That's what he said. Because, wait, fuck. Is David Canadian? No, he is not. He is American. So he said that's what Americans wear. And so, when it was time and everything was happy, Lamar revealed the big secret, saying that Lamar was too excited and that he basically took their hands. And the parents were confused, saying, why are you holding their hands? And so he basically said it. Mom, Dad, I'm gay. I have a husband and a child right here, Xavier. He's our child. And then basically the parents started saying some really homophobic things, calling him a faggot. I could say that, by the way. Call him a faggot, God's sinner, you'll go to hell, cocksucker, all those other things. And when they got home, Lamar was in tears, and his parents kicked him out and said that they never wanted to see him come back ever again. They didn't want a faggot as a son. His parents were very homophobic. When they got home, Lamar was in tears on the floor because he just lost his parents, and David cheers him up. And then we go back to Xavier. Xavier goes to school to be pinned to a locker. And he was with Landon at this time. So he whispered in his ears in a firm voice, saying, we're done, you no good little shit. Because he basically did something that he didn't know about, apparently. And then, he ended up going back to Raymond, I guess, and of course he accepted. And then walked away. He never said I love you to Xavier after that. That scene Xavier went to his house, he made him do things again, but since Xavier was used to it, he didn't really care anymore, and that's it. And this is where we start to make our way into season 3. He didn't really care as long as they were happy. Whatever made the people happy, love, but he did it fast and forward of repeating Lamar and Xavier told him. And then this is where, in the season 2, Lamar and David sit him down. As he was going through enough, he was going through so much, he was so overwhelmed, he didn't need to hear this news. But Lamar and David told him that he was adopted. Xavier got upset because he thought he was at least one of them, because he knew how it worked. He said, because he knows that 2 boys can't have a baby unless one's has a female reproduction system, which they don't, so he thought he'd be at least one of theirs and might have just looked like the mother the most. And might have just had his genes. But unfortunately, he wasn't, and he got basically really upset and started yelling at them for lying to him, and that's why they were always avoiding the subject of saying that, asking why, they're saying, well, you'll explain when you get older. And so they told him what happened and that his parents left him in an alleyway to defend for himself, and they found him and took him home. And so basically Xavier decided to go back to them and said, I want to find my real parents. I want to know who they are. Why I'm like this. Why is this like this? So when Xavier finally found his parents were so excited that he was to meet his biological parents. And when he met them, they were confused. They said, who are you? And then he basically said, are you Janice? And I'm just thinking of the name really quick, Alex. And they basically said, yes, I'm your son. And basically the mom got really mad and said, I thought you got rid of that rat. And basically when Xavier heard that, he got really upset. And his parents holded him close, knowing that this would have happened. Because no one just leaves their baby on the street like that with such an evil face. That's why it says needs holy water. At least he knew where his genes came from. But they sat him down. But Xavier convinced them that he was their son and that they actually wanted him to come in for a bit. And so they asked, who's been taking care of you? These 2 are my father's, he said, and basically they got really offended, like very homophobic about that, and said, we left you on the street and we got you into this situation. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Did they do anything to you? Thinking that the fathers raped him, because apparently that's what's in a homophobic person's mind like that, and thinks that they thought that they go by gays being pedophiles completely, and they thought that they did stuff to him, and they didn't. They treated him with love and care, discipline, like a normal parent would. And then when he said that's not true, that's not what happened, his parents got offended too. And they said, we treat him with love and respect. We give him everything he wants. He's in a happy home, in a happy life. He gets everything that he needs to survive, and we make sure he's emotionally and physically supported. We pay for his doctor bills. We pay for everything. He's our child. He's adopted, whether he's biological or not. We wish he was. And so basically, Xavier told him that he was gay too. So if you're going after them, you're going after him. If you're going after them, you're going after me too. Basically, his parents wanted nothing to do with him after that. They kicked him out and called him a burden to the family that they never wanted. And called him a mistake, saying that he was a... Should I say this? Yeah, I'm going to say it. He's a porty potty baby. Yeah, he was conceived in a porty potty. How sad. David, being the bully he is, started laughing at that. Xavier got really upset at that, and Lamar basically hit him over the head. He deserved it. But then we move on to the next series, to the next season, and in this season, Xavier becomes very suicidal. It's been months. He's now 15, turning 16. And he started cutting. At one point. Xavier one day went to school. A new boy saw him in that situation, but they did not fall in love. They do not fall in love. We're not doing that cliche. And basically, he tried to help him with this situation, but unfortunately, the guy couldn't help, and he tried to stand up for himself, but then they knocked him down, saying that he was wrong. Xavier started cutting his body over, and when Raymond found them when he fucked him, he told him that he deserved them, and he had really bad self-esteem issues. His parents noticed it and took him to a therapist, but in the end, Xavier became suicidal because the therapist thought he was being dramatic and thought he was lying, and they didn't really care, and they just wanted the money. So Xavier became suicidal. He attempted many, many times, but they never worked. His parents stopped him the second that they saw it and put him in a hospital. They Baker acted him, put him in a psych ward to get help because they knew they couldn't help him at that point. So none of them worked. But then one day, Landon was drunk and raped him and beated him at the same time. He couldn't take anymore, so this would be the last episode right here. He couldn't take it anymore. Landon, he went home, went in the garage and found some rope and hung himself in his bedroom. His parents weren't home at that time. They had to go out because they had emergency work to fulfill with the bank to keep their house because they forgot to pay that month. So when they came home, they were absolutely mortified, seeing their little boy hanging from the ceiling, just hanging there so cold and pale. Lamar bawled his eyes out. David bawled his eyes out. When they got to the funeral, Landon was so upset, and so was Raymond. Even his real parents showed up and said that they were sorry. David and Raymond, Landon and Raymond said what they've done and said that he forced them to do things. And Landon hit him, and that's why he was always covered, and he always knew to notice the marks, and we told him to do more. David and Lamar struck them for the death of their baby. Raymond went to jail for abusing his abilities of secondhand rape. He went to jail for secondhand rape. And Landon also went to jail for abuse. David and Lamar became very depressed, and the house always felt empty. They closed off his room. They locked it down. They even planned to remove the walls. They burned everything. They didn't want anything to remember him. They were so upset, and they didn't want to adopt anymore because they were so old. So they didn't do anything about it. They just cried every night. They felt heartbroken. They started to get into a lot of more fights. But eventually they finally got over it, and they stayed strong for him. While Xavier watched from above for wherever he is, Xavier is dead. And probably in hell, or wherever he goes. He just wants to know that he's more happy up there. Because he's finally free from the grasps. Because he was too afraid to ask for help. Or not saying. Wait, no. Wait, no. Landon and Raymond never told him. The note did. The note said, Papa, Dad, I'm very, very sorry for this. I'm sorry that you're seeing your son hanging from the ceiling, but there's nothing you can do. I'm gone. I've been gone for a while now. Even if you try to save me, nothing will happen. I'm gone. Just let me go. I'm sorry I didn't tell you all this. I'm sorry I was so scared. I'm sorry that I can't be the perfect son that you've always wanted me to be. I'm sorry I couldn't keep my perfect grades, Dad. I'm sorry that I couldn't be the best fighter, Papa. You both wanted me to do things that I could not accomplish. My parents didn't want me. No one wants me except you guys, but even sometimes I feel isolated out. I don't know who I could turn to. I was so scared to tell you, but Landon, every time I came home with those bruises and marks, it was from him. I didn't fall. They were all from him. His anger. He got angry at me for the littlest things. And then Raymond, I never told you this, but every day he would invite me over and I'd have to go because he'd force me. And he forced himself on me. And I just couldn't take the loop anymore. I couldn't take it. I was trapped in a loop. I'm trapped in a loop and I had to escape the loop. I couldn't tell you because they said not to tell, otherwise they'd hurt me. And I couldn't take it anymore, so I ended it. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Papa and Dad. I love you. And that's why they struck them at the funeral. I'm really sorry that I have to end it like this. I'm sorry that I can't make it anymore. I'm just has no more motivation. I have no more motivation at all. I just can't. Goodbye, Pickles. And thank you for watching Trapped in a Loop to episode 5. And listening to the rest of the series. Goodbye.